professor, or morning, whatever your time is right now. I am presenting this report for extra credit. This video is about how I used to work back at Intelligence Systems. I was laid off last year during it was September, and I was laid off because the company was having financial issues, and I had survived like 3 rounds of layoffs. This new CEO came and replaced the previous CEO. And after that, I don't know what was going on with all the financial areas so much. I wasn't in finance or in like a real accounting position. I was just in accounts payable. But I knew there was something going on with all the layoffs that were happening throughout the year, the beginning of the year. And so, yeah, sadly I was laid off. But now I'm able to focus a lot more in school and hopefully do good on this upcoming final. But for intelligence, like I said, I was working in accounts payable as an accounts payable clerk, and within that, just that one department in accounts payable, there's different types of uh, different processes. Um, for example, I had to do reconciliation for credit card charges. That included me having to go through different POs for the charges, getting approvals for them, making them into 3 weeks by getting the PO, the receipt from the credit card charge, and just the approval or any type of deliverable. And then that was vouchered and reconciliated. That part was done. Then we had one of the toughest invoices was maybe UPS or FedEx invoices for each type of shipping. I had to charge a certain department. Sometimes I had to get an approval for some of the charges and look up different types of department charges. So everything was all organized between where costs were going to apply to, if that makes sense. And so what I did there to to better what's the word to better organize and create more workflow and more output. I I created an Excel file with a ton of formulas. I would put all the charges, and usually all the charges were the same. So with the charges from invoices that came from UPS or FedEx would come with the department number, and I would do pivot tables and formulas to match the department numbers with the charge codes, which led me to find out the total for each division, and then I would code all the accounting codes into the invoice itself. So that was one of the ways I would create more output. And then I did skip the 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 credit card part on how I was able to create better workflow within my position. For that, I was just struck. My timeline of doing that process was structured where at first I had to quickly get all the receipts. My first priority was getting all the receipts, then emailing all the buyers, the credit card holders, and getting their approvals. And then I would do the 3-way, and then I voucher them. And that was pretty simple. And similar process with just normal invoices as well. It was like from DigiKey. I'm not sure if you're familiar with DigiKey Mouse or a ton of manufacturing companies. I'd do the same. I would do the 3-way with the invoice. I mean the invoice, the receipts, the packing slip, and the PO number, and then that would get vouchered again, and that would be paid off, and we would end up sending checks based on the terms of paying, like pay within 30 days, you get this type of discount, like a 2% discount. And then a lot of the other type of techniques I talked about in my report included the Six Sigma tools, and that includes define, measure, analyze, improve, and control. With that, that helps analyze different kinds of inefficiencies not just within accounts payable, but within the entire company. You can define a certain problem or issue, you can measure it and analyze what we could do to make it better and how we improve it. And then that's where we take control of that main problem that we want to solve. Another thing, well, Excel is one of the ways. I also gave an example of another department. Um, it was FP&A, financial, I believe it's planning and analyzing. I'm not too sure, but I had a friend slash coworker. His name was Anise. He worked in that department, and he would calculate a whole ton of numbers: revenue, EBIT, um, the profit and loss. Would do all types of different financial statements, income statements, and for that he would need to get all the data that came out of our system. I believe it's CostPoint, Deltek CostPoint. He would extract that information, plug it into Excel, and then he would use previously used um, functions, which helped him get all of his totals and just summarize everything for, I don't know, for board meetings, for presentations, for month end results and statements. So that's what he would do to work through and create a better workflow for his department. That's what I saw helped him and really created his type of work to be more efficient. Plus, we talked about flowcharts and how it betters a process by calculating different times to complete a project. So there's different ways of completing a project, and it takes different types of steps. And for that, we need to analyze the steps, seeing how long it'll take to complete some, analyzing their slack time, and that's another way for another strategy to apply into a company, into different types of departments, and and make the company a more efficient place to create better output and hopefully make it financially successful. Quality assurance is another department in the company that I thought personally needed another kind of way of operating their division, because sometimes it would take quite a while for them to inspect an item that came in, and that would cause a delay in the AP side when it came to two-way invoices, because without their approval of the item being up to spec, that caused a delay in the AP side because we didn't receive the approval, and we need an approval to start sending out checks for the purchase of the item. And I thought that sometimes maybe they should prioritize what needs to be approved before approving something that wasn't that necessary. Because sometimes the quality assurance team would inspect something for something that we just bought, and the items invoices weren't due till a month from now. While on the other hand, in our folders, we had invoices that were due in like maybe 5 to 10 days, and the items were still not approved and inspected. So I feel like they should organize more of the items that they need to inspect in a more efficient way. And there's always things in different types of divisions where they can implement these things to really get something out of it, benefit the company, and it's something more companies should invest in. Like I said in my report, there's lots of different ways for a company to become more efficient, and I believe a company should possibly hold a meeting in that related topic of trying to come up with better ways of producing more outflow, possibly once or twice every quarter. Like that, the company's evolving with more people getting hired, more clients in line. Companies need to grow, and to do that, they need to evaluate and evolve their way of processing and their workflow.